Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, a show celebrating and questioning one of the most beloved entertainment companies in the world through honest, passionate, and clear-eyed Disney discussions. I'm Jeff DePauli, your entertainment-obsessed host with rose-colored glasses removed. Today on the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by LaughingPlace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on May 4th, 2022, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. The announced return of Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween parties at Walt Disney World, the political battle over Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District, a brand new Space Mountain in Tokyo, and more.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
As part of the Disney Parks celebration of halfway to Halloween, the Disneyland Resort announced that Oogie Boogie Bash would be returning to Disney California Adventure this fall. However, beyond that, not many details were offered just yet, including event dates or when tickets would go on sale. But the Disney Parks blog did share a first look at the new costumes Mickey and Minnie will don at Disneyland Park this Halloween. In any case, we're sure to get more updates on this year's event in the weeks ahead. Following past Disneyland After Dark events, such as Sweethearts Night, Star Wars Night, 90s Night, and more, the latest installment of the Hard Ticket event series has been announced. This June, Disney California Adventure will host Disneyland After Dark Grad Night Reunion 2022. These special evenings will allow guests to relive the fun and excitement of Grad Night with entertainment experiences and, quote, unique cafeteria-inspired food, odd choice, accompanying an evening of Grad Night's greatest hits. Disneyland After Dark Grad Night Reunion 2022 events will take place on June 23rd, 28th, and 30th, with tickets now on sale. This past weekend, Disney California Adventure hosted the first ever Disney Junior Fun Fest. The celebration included sneak peeks at upcoming Disney Junior series, stars and talent from some of the shows, special announcements, an exclusive Doc McStuffin stage show, and more. Among the announcements were pickups for new series Hey AJ, Kindergarten the Musical, Rogo Gobo, and Super Kitties, while it was also revealed Alice's Wonderland Bakery would be getting a Season 2, and that none other than John Stamos would be voicing Tony Stark on Spidey and His Amazing Friends next season. For more from the Disney Junior Fun Fest, be sure to check out Laughing Place for all of the info. Another entertainment offering has returned to the Disneyland Resort. This past week, storytelling at the Royal Theatre resumed. Now, guests can once again hear Mr. Smythe and Mr. Jones tell 20-minute versions of either Beauty and the Beast or Tangled throughout the day. As of this recording, it doesn't seem as though performance times are available in the app, but guests can visit Fantasy Fair for available showtimes and stories. This summer, some key benefits for Disneyland Resort hotel guests will be making a comeback. According to Disney, those staying at one of Disneyland's 3 resort hotels will once again be able to take advantage of early entry. Meanwhile, another returning perk this summer is the ability for guests to send select theme park purchases back to their hotels. Details on exactly when these benefits will return has yet to be revealed, but guests should expect them sometime later this summer. The downtown Disney district is gearing up for another phase in its transformation, announcing new restaurants and new aesthetics coming to the area. First, foodies will be excited to hear that the very popular eatery Din Tai Fung will be coming to the Disneyland Resort and serving up their legendary soup dumplings among other Chinese dishes. Elsewhere, Michelin-starred chef Carlos Gaitan will bring his inclusive vision of Mexican cuisine to Paseo and Centrico, which will move into the spaces currently occupied by Cattell and Uva Bar. And while Ralph's Brennan Jazz Kitchen will still reside at the district, it will be bringing some California to its look and menu, while also incorporating its New Orleans inspiration. Lastly, Disney also notes that an Earl of Sandwich walk-up location will open for a limited time beginning later this year. As for the rest of downtown Disney, the new look for the area is drawing inspiration from Southern California mid-century modern architecture, with the West End area set to boast a beautiful blend of vibrant color palettes, design elements, and patterns influenced by the region, and will include an open lawn for relaxation and future events, and an even broader and diverse collection of dining and shopping. All of that is in the works now, so stay tuned. Tokyo Disneyland has not only announced that it'll be updating its version of Space Mountain, but will be completely rebuilding the attraction and its surrounding area. While the ride will still have its original concept, the new version will feature enhanced performance and new immersive special effects that will take guests on even more of a thrill on this roller coaster. Meanwhile, the new Tomorrowland Plaza will allow those to see a picture of the future where humans and nature are in harmony, with guests being able to enjoy moments of relaxation and rest. This all-new Space Mountain is expected to open in Tokyo Disneyland in 2027, with the current attraction closing in 2024. At Disneyland Paris, guests will soon see an expansion of the resort's Premier Access, aka the paid FastPass program. This summer, the new Premier Access Ultimate will debut, giving guests priority access to 12 attractions across both parks. Starting at €90 per person, this option will allow guests to ride each attraction one time instead of purchasing Premier Access a la carte. Of course, with pricing being demand-based, the cost could be higher than this depending on when guests visit. No exact launch date for Ultimate has been revealed, but guests can continue using the regular Premier Access option in the meantime. After only 5 months on the job, the Walt Disney Company's Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, Jeff Morrill, is stepping down. In turn, his responsibilities will be assumed by executives Christina Schacke, Horacio Gutierrez, and Jenny Cohen. While a memo to employees penned by Disney CEO Bob Chapek says Morrill is departing to, quote, pursue other opportunities, it's worth pointing out that Morrill was overseeing corporate communications, government relations, and corporate social responsibility at a time when the company was experiencing crisis on all three fronts. On a lighter note, Morrill also became infamous among Diz Twitter after he accidentally revealed the opening date for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in a tweet before the information was public knowledge. Ironically, his last day came before the ride's official opening later this month. Those who can't get enough Encanto in their lives may be excited to hear that an event celebrating the film and its music is headed on tour. Encanto, the sing-along film concert tour, will be headed around the country with stops in 32 cities. Each show will showcase the entire feature-length film, an onstage band, and all of the record-breaking hits from the soundtrack. The tour kicks off July 18th in Ridgefield, Washington, and concludes August 28th in Chicago, Illinois. Tickets for these shows are now on sale at livenation.com. Although the Love Simon-inspired series Love Victor was originally announced for Disney+, it was eventually shifted to Hulu for its first 2 seasons. However, with the third and final season of the series set to arrive on June 15th, the show is coming home. That's right, in addition to debuting on Hulu, Love Victor will also be available to watch on Disney+ in the US for the first time. On that date, the first 2 seasons of the show will also be added to Disney Plus for viewers to catch up on. So if you haven't checked out the amazing Love Victor before, make plans to binge the series for yourself on Disney Plus starting June 15th. I certainly will be doing so with Season 3. And now it's time to bring in Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com. How's it going, Kyle?
Hey, Jeff. It's going pretty well. Been a busy couple weeks from Disney news.
It has been. In fact, you sent me our list of possible topics this week, and you wrote something like, not much going on, or something like that. Pretty light news. And I was like, at first I thought you were serious, and then I thought about it and looked at the list. I'm like, there's so much going on. It's crazy. But let's start with halfway to Halloween, hitting the high seas with Disney Cruise Line, because the Disney Wish is getting brand new decor and a new Halloween tree design for the brand new ship. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the costumes that Minnie Mouse, Daisy Duck, and Clarabelle Cow will be wearing for Halloween on the high seas. Kyle, can you believe this?
I can, but it doesn't make it any less funny.
Yes, those 3 characters are dressed as the Sanderson Sisters from Hocus Pocus. And I had a similar reaction where I was like, okay, like any Hocus Pocus recognition, let's face it, like Disney has officially joined the bandwagon of like, oh yeah, Hocus Pocus is popular, but it's still shocking whenever they lean into it. And this was like absurd and kind of ridiculous.
Which is the most absurd part? Just that it's happening, or that they're like, now who can we get to play the third one? Clarabelle Cow. All right, why not?
Okay, so this is what I tweeted or something when this happened. I actually think that it should have been Clarabelle Cow as Winifred Sanderson so that we could hear her sing I Put a Spell on You, because we all know how well her performance of All I Want for Christmas Is You was on the, Cinderella Castle stage show during the Christmas party. So I was like, Clarabelle singing I Put a Spell on You would be kind of amazing.
It would be. I mean, I feel like you need to pun it up somehow. I put a moo on you or something. But
well, Courtney from the Book of the Mouse Club replied to my social media post about it, and she wrote, I put a spell on moo. And I was like, 100. Yes, that should be happening. So I think that's the disappointment for me, is that it's, from what I can tell, it's just going to be meet and greet sort of situation where it's no, if you're going to do it, let's do it. Oh, it's crazy.
Well, maybe if they ever bring this to the park, so it would probably come at the expense of the actual Sanderson sisters at Magic Kingdom. So
maybe Oogie Boogie Bash. I don't know. Well, you never know. But this is kind of cool news. Now, this was specifically announced about Halloween on the High Seas for the Disney Wish, but of course, Halloween on the High Seas, I believe, takes place on every ship. But I think they were specifically talking about the Wish when it comes to the Sanderson sisters.
I'm not 100% sure on that. So originally I was with you. I thought that's what it was. But then looking at the post again, it's talking about the tree and stuff for the Wish. But I'm not clear on whether there's a bunch of things. So they were now announced so many halfway to Halloween things that there's a ton of ambiguity. In every post, we're like, hey, can you clarify this? Can you clarify this? Can you clarify this? And of course they don't. But yeah, so it's a little confusing. It'll definitely be on the Wish, it sounds like, but I would not be surprised if it were on other ships as well.
Okay, now with Hocus Pocus 2 coming out this Halloween season, where else do you think we're going to see the Sanderson sisters? I'm going to assume Oogie Boogie Bash. In fact, I'm really hoping they become part of Villains Grove, even though that's animated villains. I still think it would be cool in there because I love the vibe there, but I don't know. Do you think we'll see them pop up anywhere else? Obviously, at Mickey's Not So Scary, but...
Right. I would think so, especially because they revealed so few details about Oogie Boogie Bash other than the fact that it was coming back. They didn't give us dates or anything. So I think they probably have something up their sleeve, like you said, with the tie-in. It just makes so much sense. And, you do that, then you sell another however many units of merchandise if they're going to slap them all over.
Yeah, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but when they announced, Sid and Agatha for last year's Oogie Boogie Bash, it was considerably later, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of that last swing to sell out the rest of the tickets.
Right, but I'm suggesting perhaps even it could be, a new entertainment offering. I have no rumors or anything about that. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they put something together, even if it's just a short little recurring 15-minute thing that you have at the Hyperion's sitting empty, so I know they're not going to use that, but if you just use the orchestra section, that'd be actually kind of interesting.
I would love for them to do something with that, or even they have the kids show in the Walt Disney Theater or the Disney Junior Theater there. I don't know, but I would love to see something go on with them during Oogie Boogie Bash. I'm sure it will. But speaking of Hocus Pocus 2, did you see the leaked footage of the big musical number for Hocus Pocus 2?
I don't care about Hocus Pocus, but no, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You hate it. Well, I'm going to tell you, obviously we need a big musical number because I Put a Spell on You is the most iconic scene in Hocus Pocus. They're doing the song One Way or Another by Blondie. Now, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, sounds like a certain... ride opening soon.
All right, you're hearing it here first. Cosmic Rewind Halloween Hocus Pocus overlay. Boom!
It rewinds you to 1993.
There we go. I mean, how weird that both of those things are having that song.
They got a 2-for-1 deal from Deborah Harry.
Maybe that's what happened. But seriously, when I saw the clips of them performing One Way or Another, I was like, oh my gosh, Cosmic Rewind overlay. That would be insane. It's not going to happen, but that would be kind of awesome. Just saying, Kyle.
What would they call it, though? In California Adventure, it's Monsters After Dark. What could be the Halloween version of
Guardians of the Galaxy I think kind of like what you were saying, that just 93 Rewind would kind of work. Although, wait, this isn't 93 because it's the new movie. So, yeah, I don't know. Cosmic.
Flip-flop. It flopped and then it flipped into a hit.
I accept that. Cool. Excellent. Let's move on. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is returning to Magic Kingdom, and this may not sound like a big deal, but I gotta be honest, I questioned whether or not this was ever going to happen, because that smaller party, Boo Bash, was a huge hit at a higher ticket price, and frankly, it kind of makes sense if they had decided to be like, why invest as much if we can make even more money investing less? So I'm a little surprised by this, to be completely honest. Happy, but surprised.
Yeah, it took me a minute when I was reading the post. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, oh, yeah, of course they're announcing tickets, party. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. The name's back. And the prices are more than 2019, but they start lower than the Boo Bash. They go to the same top end, the $199, but it starts at $109. I think Boo Bash started at $129. I haven't compared like date by date to see what the total price difference is, but it starts lower technically. So
yeah, it's a pricey party still, but people have proven they're willing to pay it, so why the heck not on Disney's part, I guess. Mickey's Boo-to-You Parade is returning, as well as the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. It'll be interesting to see if they update that in any way, shape, or form. Maybe they'll put, the Blondie song in there. Who knows? And
I put a spell on Moo.
I put a spell on Moo. That's right. They're going to have Clarabelle show up and sing I Put a Spell on Moo. So, tickets go on sale for that in mid-May. And, it's a pretty big increase in ticket price. Hey, you've done it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm like, it's not an every year thing for me. Like, I really enjoy it, but like with that ticket price, you know me, I'm a Halloween Horror Nights guy. So like, I'd rather give my money to an event that changes tremendously every year versus same thing. So,
well, the way we visit Florida now, we're usually, doing something else. And so we don't always, like the last time we went, like I was telling you, we only went into the parks for a little bit for the race. And so if I was going to do this, I would probably buy the ticket instead of a day ticket, because we don't have annual passes or anything. So
yeah.
We just kind of balance the entertainment and the rides and do all the rides we want and knock it out that way.
Yeah. So it's back, and guess what? Guests receive a special Halloween-themed 50th anniversary pin. People go crazy for pins, so maybe you can just sell those on eBay and get $199 back, which honestly isn't a bad idea, because I have done that with pretty much every single D23 Expo I've gone to. I get some sort of giveaway that I'm like, I really don't want this, and it like covers the ticket price to the event, which is insane.
That is insane. And I'm sure you're everyone's favorite person when you do that.
Well, it's not like I'm the...
No, I know. Listen, you're not hoarding that. It's different. But
it's totally different when you get in a line, buy something with the intent of reselling it. This is
buying multiples.
Giveaway. Yeah, this is something they're giving you as part... I'm paying to enter the party. If I don't want a pen and somebody else wants... Kyle, why are you doing this to me, man?
Poison in the well? Because I just think it's interesting how eBay has gotten such like a negative reputation now. And it's, there are legitimate uses of it, but I know people just hate the people that get there early and buy 10 of everything they can and bring their kids to buy 10 of everything they can and then try to sell it for outrageous numbers. Because that's the other thing is like, because the way eBay works, people can list it at whatever. It doesn't mean that's what they're selling for, but then other people that have that item see that, oh, well, somebody listed it for X amount. I'm going to list it for X amount. And then it just artificially raises the market.
It does, until there's that person who's like, these aren't selling for that. I'm going to list it for half. And then they piss everybody else off who listed it. And yeah, eBay. Listen, I love searching eBay. Every once in a while, I'll just go in, type Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, type Blockbuster Video, just see what pops up. And sometimes there's quite a delight on there. So eBay's great. Just don't be a jerk who buys product. Did you see the videos of when the Main Street Electrical Parade merchandise went on sale at Disneyland?
Oh, just how quickly it was going, or
just how animalistic people were in the store. Literally like running to things and ripping them off the shelf. I'm like, come on, that's gross to me.
And then meanwhile in Florida, all the same merchandise is available, but no one's buying it because it's the wrong coast.
Yeah. They're selling the Electrical Parade stuff over there?
Yeah. A lot of it.
Interesting.
I don't know about all of it, but a lot of it.
Let's move on to some fun news, shall we? Because the Florida governor signs a bill to dissolve Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District. Kyle, before we move on, do you want to give a quick synopsis of what the Reedy Creek Improvement District is all about?
So basically in 1967, the state of... So you keep in mind, Florida at this point, not the same state we know it is today. It's basically like when Disneyland moved into Anaheim. It's small. There's a community, but not a huge community. So undergoing a project like Walt Disney World, be a big strain on those local governments. They're not really able to support it. So what they did was they created a special district that Disney services. That's why Reedy Creek has its own fire department, police. They pave the roads. But the benefit for Disney is when they want to build a new project, they permit it themselves, essentially. So cut through the red tape and they can do what they want. And that's how you kind of have that like level of quality with the roads and everything at Walt Disney World, is because they're doing it themselves. They don't have to wait for a different entity to come in and pave the roads and things like that, or fix potholes. So anyway, that's the basics of it. But because they are self-governing, Governor DeSantis took issue with this after Disney eventually rebutted the, I forget the actual name. We're just going to call it the Don't Say Gay bill because that's how it's colloquially named. But I know that is by opponents and not by proponents of that bill. And he decided to tack on to a special session that the Florida legislature was having and throw on the idea that, hey, we're going to dissolve the Reedy Creek. Well, actually, it wasn't to dissolve the Reedy Creek Improvement District. It was to dissolve all special districts created before 1968. So there actually are a few others that are tied up on this as well, but it was obviously targeting Disney and Reedy Creek. And ironically, when he made the announcement that he was adding it, he was at this big retirement community called The Villages, where there are, I think, over a dozen special districts. So the special districts aren't what the issue is. It's Disney.
Yes, indeed. And if this isn't fought in court or repealed, this goes into effect June 1st, 2023. Orange and Osceola County taxpayers will likely have to carry a massive burden, as a major tax increase for those counties is expected, given Reedy Creek's operating expenses and existing debt. Now, all conversations lead to this is simply a pissing match, and it's not going to happen. Let's hope so, but still, like, how ridiculous that we're in this situation. Here's the thing. Disney needs to stop expanding in Florida if this is going to be like the new norm. Because this is why do they keep giving? I get it. Walt Disney World's there. It's not going to be picked up and moved like some people say to do, which is crazy. But like, to me, I'd be like, conversations of a fifth gate going away. Conversations of moving employees going away. Like this going away. It's insane to me that Disney seems to be doing the opposite. They seem to be doing more. They announced the low-income housing that they're going to do and stuff.
Well, that was beforehand.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were still fighting at that point.
This went very quickly. Like, it went from, some senator offhandedly mentioning it to, hey, we're adding it. And then once it set in motion, once DeSantis announced that it was actually going to be on the agenda for the special session, it was like 3 days before it was signed. It passed the Senate the next day, then the House, and then he signed it. Which shows that it's very well thought through, which is why no one raised the issues you talk about, like the debt, or whether it's even legal to do so by the Constitution of Florida, until after. They're like, oh, maybe we don't just, shoot from the hip.
Now, obviously, the Walt Disney Company was pissed at the governor of California for not allowing them to open the parks as quickly as they wanted. But, I mean, gosh, I'd rather fight one than the other. One was doing things for what they thought were good reasons. The other one's just a dick, but whatever.
What if one of them becomes president? Then
they're screwed. Come on, president, please. Gosh, no.
He's the front runner for the Republican Party in 2024, right?
That's insane to me. That is.
I mean, I don't know about polls, but I mean, it's very speculated, and this is all part of that
insanity.
It is insane, and it goes way beyond this issue. Into, there's so many conspiracy theories about Disney going on right now that people, I'm sure you see on Facebook, people in your life who've dead seriously are using words like groomer about Disney and things like that. And it's disturbing. And it also doesn't make any sense. Like I saw today that I think there's a legislator from Texas who wants to abolish the no-fly zones for Disneyland and Walt Disney World. It's like, what the hell does that have to do with Texas? Like, you can just stay in your lane. Like, it's okay.
Why not just like move to London or something?
Yeah, they could do that. Just pack up Disney World, move to. I mean,
no, I'm talking about just me and you. Like,
oh yeah, you and me.
Just get out of here. I don't know, man. It's insane to me. But in any case, let's talk about overseas for a second, because Tokyo Disney is preparing for more exclusive theme park experiences. Tokyo Disney Resort owners, the Oriental Land Company. So as many people know, Disney does not own most of Tokyo Disney Resort.
I don't think any. I think they just operate
any of it. Okay. So they've set out an 8-year blueprint for long-term growth by reducing attendance at the parks to below pre-pandemic levels. Now, this outlines the medium-term goal from 2022 to 2024 and a long-term plan to be realized by 2030. It emphasizes greater guest experiences, more sustainable operations, and an overall aim to pandemic-proof the business. Now, we know that Tokyo Disney has been hit hard by pandemic. Do you remember how many times did they close?
I don't know if they reclosed. I know that they dipped in threshold, and for when they first opened, it was just people of that prefecture that were allowed to go. I don't remember if they reclosed. I don't think they ever did, actually.
Okay.
Well, actually, they might have, now that I think about it, but I don't remember. I'm sorry.
No worries. I put you on the spot. I don't remember either. I just remember the overseas parks where it was like open, close, and
it wasn't as long as Tokyo's, it wasn't as long as Hong Kong's reclosure or Shanghai's at this point.
I get it. Like, they're talking like a pandemic like that's going to hit every 10 years now. Like, this is just something the world's going to have to get used to. So who knows? But like, weather's changing. That's something we have to get used to as well. Like, it's smart of them to think this way, but it is very scary because, talking about a more exclusive experience, we all know what that means. That means prices go up, prices go through the roof, which I guess fine if that's your business model, but Disney needs to stop marketing the way that they do at that point, if that's what they're going to do. And yes, this is very much overseas talk. This is not Disney. This is Oriental Land Company. But if it works, we all know it's going to end up over here. So it's weird.
If you read the actual, so I read looked through the two press releases that they have, the medium length one to 2024 and the other one. And, it sounds like stuff they're already doing here. They talk about spreading demand across the calendar. Like you said, kind of capping the attendance a little bit lower. So that's kind of like the park reservations. And then just offering additional services. And they don't really specify what those are. Again, something we already do over here. So I feel like it's more the other way around than it is things coming over here. But I mean, they don't give a ton of specifics. I don't think we're
back to 100% in the States, though, with attendance. And I think their goal is to get there. Like, I don't think we're at pre-pandemic numbers. I don't think they ever, at least publicly, said, yeah, we're back to 100%. And I feel like that's something that they would say.
Yeah, I know. But I just mean, like, in terms of what Tokyo's doing, I feel like the park reservation system's kind of already, it allows them to reach that goal for Tokyo.
That needs to go away, man. The park reservation system. I'm sorry. It does. If they're going to keep that, they need to get rid of annual passes. And I know that pisses a lot of people off, but like,
well, Tokyo did.
Yeah, I know. And frankly, I think that's what here's what it should be. You buy a ticket, you pick the day, you go. Like it should be as simple as that. It makes no sense to do what they're doing. The stories I keep hearing over and over of people showing up because they have tickets but not a reservation. And I know Disney tells people 1,000,000 times, it's on the website, it's on the email, but people don't pay attention clearly. And on top of that, like, let's face it, if it's a family vacation, there's one person in charge of everything. So if that one person screws up, you messed up an entire family's vacation. And it's just a horrible guest experience. It's the complete opposite of what Disney wants. So the reservation system is the absolute worst thing. Like, it's horrible at this point. And I get why it was put in place. It was necessary. There was a pandemic, but it drives me crazy. It makes the amount of homework to take a Disney vacation now is more than ever. And frankly, it makes it not fun.
You know who would screw up the reservation thing? The Hex.
The who?
The Hex.
Oh, from the middle? Oh, yeah, they ended up on the wrong coast, didn't
Listen
they?
to episode whatever.
Prime Time at the Parks episode we did of the middle, yes. I mean, seriously, though, it's insane to me. And, you know, they're essentially, with the Tokyo thing, they're trying to get higher revenue from fewer guests. That seems to be a model that works. We've seen look at Boo Bash last year, right? The higher revenue, fewer guests. So, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to me, but apparently many people are okay with it. So what do I know, right, Kyle?
Nothing.
I'm just a man talking into a microphone. That's right. Cool. Alrighty, let's move on because Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel is going to receive a Pixar makeover. And this is something that I think was like expected, but also enough time had passed that it's like, well, I guess that's not going to happen because of Pixar Pier, of course. And the hotel will remain open as it undergoes this major renovation. I didn't know this. The hotel originally opened in 1984 as a non-Disney hotel. I knew that. But then it was purchased by Disney in 1995 and renamed to the Disneyland Pacific Hotel. Did you know that?
I forget it often, but yes.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was always in 2001 when it was purchased around then because of Disney California Adventure. At that point, it was rethemed to Paradise Pier because of the land in Disney California Adventure. And at that point, 2001, Disneyland, they had a walkway, I guess, that connected the hotel into Disney California Adventure. I didn't know this either, but apparently they're bringing that back. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're bringing in some form. We don't know if it's going to be the same entrance area or whatever, but yeah, that's going to be really cool. Apparently it's already under construction. So that I would imagine that it opens with the renovated hotel, but they didn't really say one way or the other.
Yeah, so I like that. I think that's good. Yeah, I stay at that hotel usually for the expo years, and it's a good hotel. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it was not like a Disney-built hotel. It feels like a standard hotel with a bit of extra Disney magic, but I'm happy that they're doing Pixar theme and not, there were rumors for a while, it's going to be Toy Story theme because they already have Toy Story hotels and it would just be an easy copy and paste, but I'm like, it's Pixar Pier, not Toy Story Pier, like, let's do this right, and it sounds like they're doing it right.
I like the concept art for the interior. The exterior one was questionable. It also just looked poorly photoshopped. But the inside with like having the Luxo and the ball and the different stories kind of incorporated into whatever was hanging from the ceiling, I thought it looked pretty nice.
They're going to empty storage from Pixar Fest and use it over there, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
They did mention that there will definitely be like specific pieces that are interchangeable pretty frequently. So whenever there's a new Pixar film, they can incorporate that. My question is, will Paradise Gardens in Disney California Adventure be getting a Pixar Pier extension retheme? Now that, because Paradise Gardens kind of played into the Paradise Pier Hotel. So I'm curious if we're going to be getting an extension. I don't think so, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that whole part of the park is a little confused because remember, like the Mermaid and all of that Route 66 stuff was all part of it, and then they just severed off the actual boardwalk part. So there's like a bunch of sublands over there.
It accomplishes a couple things, right? Like it ties the hotel into Disney California Adventure more, but also like Disney's kind of their operation these days is getting the characters into the hotels. So this is kind of solving that issue as well. So yeah, it works. Cool. Let's move on because America Chavez, how do you say it?
Chavez, I think.
America Chavez and the Scarlet Witch are coming to Avengers Campus. Now, Kyle, I just wanted to talk about this because do you remember back in the day, let's go way back in Disney Coast to Coast history. Do you remember Frozen News of the Week? Ding!
Yes.
Okay, because there was so much Frozen news where every week there was something Frozen. I'm starting to think we need to start doing Avengers News of the Week or at least Avengers Campus News of the Week, because the amount of new characters that keep coming are insane.
Maybe the month. I think that's what you need. Because what's also
Avengers
crazy,
Campus News of the Month. Boom.
But what's weird is like we keep announcing these new things coming, but then they don't necessarily enter the rotation Like these ones, they specifically said they'd only be appearing for a short time. So,
I know,
you
who are
don't.
these people that are hired for like 2 weeks of work? It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, like Shang-Chi, I don't think you really see him after that short little thing they did. So I wish that there was more of a thing.
You can base your bottom dollar. There's going to be an Avengers Campus Marvel special event that brings all these characters back. That
I
would
think
sell out in
maybe
a
after
second.
things kind of hit a nice plateau as well, then maybe they can start figuring out. I mean, because as we saw, and as we'll talk about in a minute, they just got to dealing with like normal operations and how these character interactions even work. So maybe soon they'll be able to tweak things and be like, oh, let's have this person appear for a bit now.
Yeah. Now, this is beginning on May 6th, where America Chavez from the new film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will appear inside Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure Park for a limited time. And then additionally, Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch, will also be debuting for a brief visit this May. So, just as you said. But I want to talk about something even more important, and that is Ant-Man, because Ant-Man and the Wasp have been carrying around Flick's Fun Fair in a miniaturized form. I don't know who thought of this, but this is genius.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's got like working parts in there. You can see like Flick's flyers going around and things like that. It's very clever. It does. Mike Celestino has raised some questions about the backstory because he's like, well, it's supposed to be like a Stark land. And I'm like, well, this was the size of Bugs. So, you wouldn't have known it was there. It could have still been on Tony Stark land, and the Bugs land could have been there because you shrunk to the size of the thing. So
what it says is that Ant-Man, at least in a video from the park, he says that he shrunk a Bugs land down to keep it preserved so that everyone can relive their best memories. And by the way, anybody listening who maybe is confused by this, a Bugs land used to be where Avengers Campus is now. So that's what they did. That's what they're doing. And next week, actually, Wayne Zielinski is going to be walking through Avengers Campus with a miniaturized Bugs Land. So
I'm sure
I'll be showing up for that.
Yeah, what time is that dream you're having? Is that
I've been dreaming it for years, Kyle, for years. But this is just meta awesomeness. I think it's super cool. So there's that. Before we move on to the next story, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to one of DCTC's newest patrons, Faith Casanova. Now, Faith is supporting the show over on Patreon and gaining early access to DCTC episodes, and now has the ability to take part in live stream Q&As and more. So thank you, Faith, for supporting the show in this way. If you've been enjoying free episodes of this show for a long period of time and have the means, consider helping me produce more free episodes of the show while gaining rewards at the same time. Plus, for any new patron who joins this month, May of 2022, I'll be matching 100% of your first month subscription to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm sure you've heard of this great foundation before, where they create life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. Of course, many of these wishes include a Disney vacation. If you'd like to learn more about Make-A-Wish or donate to them directly, I'll include a link in the show notes. But now let's wrap up with another news story, because Kyle, on the previous episode of DCTC, we talked all about your Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser getaway, but new offerings are already happening. Are you sad you missed out on this?
Once you get to it, I'm sure I can share how disappointed I am to have missed this. But
okay, you can now enhance your character with a personalized Galactic Makeover right in your cabin. The talented image designers is what they're called. They're ready to create your out-of-this-world look in the style of fan-favorite alien species so iconic to Star Wars. Choose from a selection of eye-catching, face-painted designs for a look that inspires your unique story aboard the Halcyon Starcruiser. Appointments are limited, so jump to hyperspace and reserve yours as soon as possible. It's face painting. That's what this is, and it's an add-on cost. The thing that's so weird to me is you can only have half your face painted to go into the parks or something.
Yeah, I didn't realize this either, but on the thing it has Batu approved looks, and so some of them that use full face paint aren't allowed, whereas ones that are more just they almost look like decals. Those ones are okay to go to Batu. I had no idea because this is something you asked me when we were talking, and I told you, hey, I saw people on the ship and when we were getting on that were in pretty intense makeup, and I didn't see them in Batu. but just assumed that wouldn't be an issue. I guess maybe it was an issue. So I wonder what those people did.
That's really weird, but I have noticed a lot of times in theme parks in general where only half of a person's face is painted. So I guess it's so they don't look legit or something, but I don't know. It's a weird rule in my book. So keep that in mind. If you want to go to Batuu, you need a Batuu approved look, and they have that clearly labeled in their options, I guess. So my question is, why do they have any options that aren't Batuu approved? But whatever.
In case you want to just do it on the ship.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Before I let you go, a quick question we didn't talk about in the episode. How was the air simulator? Did you check it out?
I did, and it was actually much cooler than you would expect given what little we knew about it.
And this is just an excuse for fresh air, essentially, right?
Excuse for fresh air, yeah. You also, sometimes they do little meetings out there and stuff with some of the character interactions. And I found out, I didn't see this personally, but I found out from one of Mike's videos that there's also some cool little effects out there that the cast members can do with like children and stuff. So there's a bunch of like, it's like a Zen garden almost. You can stack rocks and stuff like that. And it's just a nice place to hang out. Like, it's very nicely themed. And yeah, it definitely is not just like the patio that we thought it was going to be.
And the weather is simulated just as it is on Batuu.
Except that it's shaded, so it's really not.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, if you want to hear more Galactic Starcruiser talk, make sure you listen to the last episode with Kyle, where he talks all about his trip. Other than that, I think that's going to do it for the news. Yeah, Kyle?
I think so, Jeff. Hopefully
Excellent.
The next 2 weeks will be a little bit less hectic.
Yes, I will talk to you again soon, sir. Bye.
Bye.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. Do you have a favorite piece of halfway to Halloween news that was recently announced? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569 and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app. This episode has been executive produced by Robert Scontrino. Gain rewards like Robert, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live-stream Q&As by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. Basically, anything you need can be found in this episode's description, from additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, to the DCTC hotline where you can leave a voicemail and be heard on a future episode, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.